Both Memphis and Gonzaga have gone through the first half of conference play unscathed, but it's because of the conferences that they're in that they have gone through unscathed. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz. Glad to be with you here on CBSSports.com. Gonzaga hosting Memphis this weekend in a game that'll finally get the attention back on those two teams. Let's bring in CBS College Sports' Steve Lappas to break this down. And Steve, that's a big part of this because nobody's talking about Gonzaga. Nobody talks about Memphis until we get to the NCAA tournament because of the conferences they're in.
Well, Memphis has won 50 straight in Conference USA. At least Gonzaga loses once in a while in the West Coast Conference. But you're right. It's a great game for both teams and both programs. I think right now Gonzaga probably needs it a little bit more than Memphis, and they're home.
They are at home, and that is certainly a huge place. Spokane, not one of those places that anybody goes into and wins. But, Steve, you called the Memphis game last week. What is the biggest difference since they've moved Tyreke Evans to the point?
I think it's allowed everybody else to play the way they want to play. In other words, he's not really a point guard, let's say that. He's more of a combination guard. But Antonio Anderson is playing better. Robert Dozier's playing better. Donnell Mack, who was a guy who was struggling really, has now given them some solid play at the 2 spot. So I think everybody else has played better, and Tyreke Evans feels like, I'm sure, well, at least it looks that way, that he can still do the things he likes to do, get to the basket off the dribble, and still play the point position. So though he's not a point guard, he's doing a very good job for them right now. And
he's making everybody better, which is obviously making John Calipari much happier. But, Steve, who else other than Tyreke Evans has to be a guy in this game that steps up and plays well for them to be successful?
Robert Dozier. He is the biggest key to this Memphis team and how far they go. This is an NBA talent who sometimes plays like an NBA player and sometimes he doesn't. When I saw him last week against Houston, he played like an NBA player. He has that kind of talent. But one thing about this Memphis team, they are the longest team in America. There are more long arms and long legs in this game than any team I've seen. That's why they are such an unbelievable defensive team. You throw Taggart in there, Dozier, Antonio Anderson, Donnell Mack. This team has great size, great athletic ability, and they really guard.
So what does that mean for the Zags' 2 top scorers, Austin Day and Josh Heifeld?
They're going to see a lot of long arms under that basket. They're going to be contested very hard, you know, between Dozier and Taggart. Those guys are going to make it very hard. They bring Pierre Niles off the bench, a different look, 6'9", 300 pounds, is very athletic. So they are going to really be in that lane, and it's going to be hard for the guards to feed the post because I think there's so many long arms and legs pressuring the ball for Memphis.
Well, we're talking about Memphis defense here, but, Steve, we'd be missing something if we didn't talk about the defense that Gonzaga plays, too.
Best defense they've ever played. They lead the nation in defensive field goal percentage, so I'm not taking that away from them. But what Memphis does, Memphis not only holds you down in terms of your percentage, they steal the ball from you, too. So I think that's a great combination to have in your favor.
All right. Who wins the game, Steve?
I think Memphis is going to win. I just am very impressed with the way they defend. They can definitely go through their droughts offensively, but I think they defend well enough. It's going to be a very tough, and it's going to be a very good and close game.
All right, you're going to take Memphis for the win. They haven't lost since December 20th. You're going to take them on the road at Gonzaga. Steve Lappas, thank you very much, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, folks, for more on this game or any other this weekend, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Steve Lappas, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.